guys, welcome to my continuing adventures of torturing Alex while other Joe is gone on vacation. So this week I forced Alex to come with me to Minions, the Rise of Gru. Two adult men, very large man with a bunch of kids in the theater. Hey, I don't care, man. Look, I like Despicable Me, okay?
The first one, I like Despicable Me as well.
Really?
I did.
All right, then. Yeah,
it was not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's funny, and I think that it was like touching at the end.
Yeah.
And I think it was a solid animated feature.
Yeah, me
This
too.
was not that.
No, unfortunately, this was a misfire. I came in with high hopes because you see cute little Gru, and you see all the minions, and you kind of get this idea that, oh, you'll see the origin of the Minions, or at least when they first met Gru, and that is completely disappointing. This is more like Despicable Me prequel. This is Despicable Me 0 or Despicable Me 0.5 or something like that is what the story is. I really thought it was going to focus more on the Minions. Now, initially, I thought the Minions would be explained here, but that was actually the one that I missed. Because, Alex, this is a mega billion-dollar franchise, if you didn't know this. I actually didn't know. I understand it's becoming the face of the company because you see Illumination, then you see the little minions slam into it and shit. Get this. Despicable Me, so the first Minions film, the one that came before this one, the one that I didn't see that explains their origin, guess what the box office of is that for that one? $1.159 billion. A billion-dollar film, Alex. It took Top Gun a while to reach $1 billion. So the first Minions made $1 billion fucking dollars.
You mean the one that has a 49% audience score?
Yes.
Oh, the one that not even the audience and the children liked?
Yeah, I know. And if it's worse than this one, then holy shit. Yeah. Anyways, Despicable Me 3, guess how much that one did? $1.03 billion. I had no fucking idea. Despicable Me 2 did $970 million, so probably $1 billion by now. And then finally, Despicable Me 1 did the worst of it, $543 million. But that started the franchise, started the popularity of the Minions. So this time we get a film which is essentially the Minions meeting Gru and trying to impress their boss, while there are a number of subplots that really go nowhere at all. And I wish the film was funnier. I wish the film had a stronger story. And I get it. And my expectations were kind of low. I just wanted to go in and laugh and have a good time. And other than, the music, which was making the theater really bump, everybody was really into the music because it's in the 70s, and they got some great dance numbers. What is the Sunshine song?
Oh, the Diana Ross song?
Diana Ross.
Sunshine.
Turn Up the Sunshine. And they even played like this Minion music video of Turn Up the Sunshine, which was in my better almost than the whole film. It was great. I will say the film disappointed me other than the animation. The animation is really top tier. There's so much detail in the frame, and it's very colorful. Unfortunately, everything else didn't really, do it for me as far as a fan of Despicable Me. What do you think, Alex?
The story was not good, and that is like even under the lens of a children's animation. This was not a good story. Yeah. There was nothing endearing about this. This doesn't have the strong connection where you've got Gru and then the little girls from the first one, and it makes sense. Yeah. And there's it's a touching. It's a touching. There's nothing at all. There's nothing endearing about any of these characters. There's no emotional highs or low. There's a wacky Michelle Yeoh-centric side plot that I don't know if they're really trying to push, because there were some new laws passed about getting Hollywood movies in the Chinese market, right? You have to have Chinese funding, you have to have Chinese actors and actors. 100%, because nothing about that makes sense and nothing about it fits the movie.
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then so we go off on this weird adventure. The best part about this movie is songs that they didn't deserve to use. I mean, and the songs are amazing. There's some really, really amazing things. The animation's top tier.
The animation's great.
This is not even there are times where it's like, oh, if you're going with a bunch of kids, you're going to enjoy it. This is one of the worst children's movies I've seen in years. Like, this is not very good.
Uninspired and just going through the motions.
Yeah.
And it's I know we're two crudgy old men shitting all over this, but consider where we come from, where Despicable Me was entertaining not only for kids but for adults.
I like Despicable Me.
This particular film is going to entertain kids and no one else.
I love Disney movies and I love Pixar movies. I love animation. Like I grew up in
unless your standards are really low, then
Yeah.
and you just like the antics of the minions.
Yeah, but
But
this
here-
isn't. This isn't like watching, some of the cartoons that we watch as a kid that come out now where the adults are kind of chuckling to themselves because they don't understand the complexity of some things, and there's fun for the whole family. This will only be fun for really little kids because the minions speak nonsense.
Right. And
that's
who
it.
all the jokes will go over their head. They had references to, gosh, even people that I was struggling to remember who they were. So all of the older people are going to be explaining the references to their kids from the 70s. I
Yeah.
forget when he falls through the trap door. It's like, oh, all right, whatever. Or they call him something.
Yeah, I love the different voice actors they got in this. Of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme is Jean-Claude.
So that's another thing. Like, that did not occur to me the entire film. They got amazing actors.
Dolph
right?
Lundgren.
There's Dolph Lundgren. Let's see if I can get them all here. Give me 1 second. So Minions: Rise of Gru.
Yeah.
I'm looking up the cast. So you've got
Xena was.
So you got Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
You got Raza. And RZA, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Lucy Lawless, Dolph Lundgren, Danny Trejo,
Yeah.
and I guess Russell Brand. But I couldn't tell any of them.
Yeah.
There was no way I'd even know until the very fucking end. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, wait, what?
There was no opportunity for any of these actors to shine.
It could have been anybody in those roles.
And just...
Bummer.
Yeah, I wanted to like these characters more knowing who was voicing them, and they did nothing with them. And again, like, there was 1 or 2 times where I never laughed in this movie at all. I smiled
I was
twice.
hoping that, and I have laughed out loud in Despicable Me's.
Yeah,
I
a
didn't
minion
laugh
got
at it.
sucked in a toilet, and I was like, that made me smile.
And his pants came off and
Yeah.
his butt was hanging out.
And it was just like, all right, that warrants a smile. That's it. That's what you
Yeah.
get. That was like the height of this fucking movie.
For you, yeah,
and it's
Michael.
terrible.
It got maybe 3 chuckles out of me. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to laugh out loud. So it's not funny. It's nonsensical. The story is weak, and it's just an excuse to have the minions do their minion things. So the mileage on that will vary. If you like them, then maybe you'll like the film. But otherwise, I need a little bit more meat on my bones. And I think because this franchise has now generated $3.7 billion globally, I kind of expect to be entertained a little bit better than that particular.
Well, this was
thing.
delayed for so
Yeah.
long. We waited an extra year for this.
Yeah. So get this. This is the first time I know the minions are and every once in a while I've heard it before in previous films. I'll catch a Spanish word here and there.
Spanish, French, and
but
Italian
now
constantly.
I
And
just
German.
realized that these guys are Spanish. There's a ton of Spanish.
Well, there's a ton of French
that
in
I
there.
picked-
There's a ton of German, too.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on the French and the German as much. This time it was far more Spanish that was coming out of their mouth than anything. So I was like, oh, okay. So they're gonna tell us where they come from. But little did I know, I thought this film would cover their origins and meeting Gru. But no, there was one in 2015 that covers their origins, which is essentially they just were. They popped into existence as single-celled organisms. They came out of the sea, and they started looking for bosses.
For the
They
most
found
evil thing, right?
They found a T-Rex, and then they found a caveman, and then this film is the explanation of how they found Gru, which is a really poor explanation. We'll get to it in a later section, semi-spoiler section. But yes, unfortunately, this one I'll say I tried to wear my minion. I don't really have any yellow shirts. This one is not really that great for fans of Despicable Me, but maybe if you find yourself liking just sitting there and being entertained and not being at home and having people yelling and screaming at you or something, then I guess you can be entertained. But it was a disappointment. So let's go to final verdicts.
I I'm going to say this is below average. I think this is a 4. I just think that the story was not compelling. The characters were not compelling. They wasted the voice actors and actresses they had here. And
What the fuck, Alex? I just looked this up. 93%.
Well, it just came out.
Audience.
Like
Okay, you're right. You're right.
It's been
It
out
just
for like
came
2
out.
hours. So it's like, well,
that'll
we'll have to
probably
see.
drop on audience. Of course, audience is always. I do this policy of audience is going to be 2 points higher. So right now, critics 70, audience 93, with only 100 ratings in.
Yeah, so it's really early. So I think that they did nothing with the story here. I think that they completely wasted the actors and actresses they had, other than Steve Carell, of course. And there's no real emotional hook, which I think that I've come to expect out of these movies. Where even if nothing's making me laugh, you expect that scene where Gru finally realizes like how important the minions are to him, and there's something touching, and you're like, but nothing, fucking nothing.
It combs right over
and
it
just
fast.
it just completely brushes through it. So there's not even if you're looking for something emotional, the only response I got from this was from music that they didn't deserve. Like, I mean, honestly, it's like
the feeling that music gives.
It's just like, oh man, this is so great. I love all these songs, and it's just like, oh shit, it's being played in front of this though. So I think that this is unfortunately below average. I feel that this is a miss, just like they did with the last Minions movie, which apparently no one liked. I think that this is going to be. I think this will probably get certified rotten.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully it does, because that's what, frankly, it deserves. Now, the story mainly, I kind of skipped over the story, mainly resolves around the Vicious Six, Gru wanting to join the Vicious Six. So like I said, this is a Minions film, but it feels more like a Despicable Me film. It doesn't really focus on the Minions other than a kind of two side plots that the Minions get. And so the Vicious Six, they're not that entertaining. They kick out one of their members, and the film wants to say one of the most emotional moments is, well, talk about it in spoilers, but it doesn't work. It chooses one of the emotional moments that Gru is sad because of what's happening with the Vicious Six rather than the Minions. And like Alex said, it kind of combs right by the better lesson. Now, by the end, it does try to wrap it up. It says, what I've learned is you can't do things alone. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Yes, you can. Have some self-gumption and seize the day. But it also has a good message of you can rely on others and you can have a good core of friends. So while the message is good, it doesn't even really hammer it home in an effective way. So you went with, what again? 4 out of 10. I'm going to go with 5. Just because I really enjoyed the music, but that's not really fair.
You can't give this movie credit for Diana Ross.
Right. That was the first time I've actually ever heard that song, so I'm high on that, and I'm still, hearing that song in my head and that dance number and that dance sequence. But like I said, I think half of it is there. What half? The animation. The talent behind this animation, the colorfulness, the creativeness, the designs, the different things, the detailedness of this action and the things that are being displayed is fucking wonderful. I just wish the writing was up to par and it was better for that, to live up to that part. So, unfortunately, Minions, The Rise of Gru, don't worry about it. You can skip it. In fact, there was a trailer for something called Marcel the Shell with shoes on that looked fucking adorable, and it looked like it was a better kind of animation.
There was more emotion in that little trailer than this whole movie.
There was more emotion in Marcel the Shell with shoes on than this. So if you want something like that, go watch that. Other than that, this is kind of like Netflix junk. Just wait till it comes out on Netflix or whatever streaming service the Despicable Me's are gonna end up on, right? All right, well, that's it. Let me go into the spoiler section. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys. Hey, welcome to the spoiler section. In this section, I wanted to just kind of compare it to the franchise itself. So, Despicable Me has 81 critics, 82 audience.
That's too low in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm surprised that the first one wasn't higher.
Yeah.
The second one, and then progressively it goes down from there. The Despicable Me 2, 75% critics, 85% audience. Then Minions came out. 55% critics, 49 audience. Now that is crazy when the audience is lower. Despicable Me 3 came out in 2017. It is basically on the same level as Minions, a tiny bit higher, 59% critics, 53% audience. And now, because the Minions Rise of Gru just came out, you're at 70 critics and 93 audience, which should drop, and hopefully it drops below Despicable Me 1 and 2. And honestly, I've seen all the Despicable Me's, so I think all 3 Despicable Me's are better than this film. I haven't seen Minions. But now I feel like, fuck, there's 5 films in this franchise.
You only missing one. It's the
might
worst
as well
of them.
see. I might as well see that last one. Put myself through
It's the worst.
Yeah. Alex, so what exactly happens? I did want to talk about the subplots with the Minions. What do the Minions get to do in this film?
The whole trailer gives away the entirety of the movie, and so they lose a necklace. The necklace is super powerful. It's a magic doodad.
What the Vicious Six were after.
Yeah, it's what they're at the whole time. And so the Minions end up losing it after Gru steals it. And so there's 2 sets of
traded
missions.
for a pet rock.
Yeah. Again,
Minions.
It's all in the trailer. So one of the ones he gets on a big wheel and he follows a guy on a motorcycle across the entire country, and he's looking
literally goes nowhere.
And then he just gets the necklace.
He just gets the necklace. I'm not joking. Like there's one. It cuts away to him riding on the big wheel sometime later. And the guy he was following in a motorcycle,
he's like, "Hey, you want this? Here you go."
Just stops and says, "Oh, we're best friends now." And then they have a sequence where they're best friends. It's like that kind of writing where it's like none of it makes sense.
Then the other 3, they steal a plane, they fly. I was expecting like all sorts of like fun hijinks and stuff, and the guy getting sucked into the toilet. Well, again, this is the peak of the movie. It rips his clothes off. You know, it shows you that they got, it shows a little butt cheeks, and you're like, aha, this is amazing. And then they land in San Francisco, and they get their asses beat. And then they meet Michelle Yeoh, who's in there doing acupuncture.
So yeah, that's right. So they fight the. First off, there's a betrayal in the Vicious Six.
Yeah, but that happens in the trailer too, right?
Nah, I don't think
okay, so
I didn't see that trailer.
Alan Arkin is the origin of the Vicious Six, right? He's Wild Knuckles, and he forms the band of evil villains. And they find this magical doodad, and right as he grabs it, the Vicious Six betrays him. So the 5 remaining members kick him off, leave him for dead, and so they have the doodad.
He manages to capture Gru.
He manages to capture Gru, and because Gru's supposed to have the necklace, but he doesn't have it because the Minion traded it for a pet rock. And then through the captivity, he realizes he needs a friend, and Alan Arkin
the Minions show up to save him, and the Minions get their ass kicked by his henchmen, his karate henchmen. And basically, they just kick the Minions into one side alley. And in this one side alley, it just so happened to be that there was an acupuncturist. And the second I heard Michelle Yeoh's voice, I was like, oh, shit, she's going to be a main character. And I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, this is, halfway into the film, and we're introducing her now. And then she just jumps in the film, and she's a major character. Obviously, she sees the Minions getting beat up outside, and she goes to help them, kicks all of their asses, and then the Minions ask to have her teach them Kung Fu. And then we have, of course, the training sequences, the montages. You know, when I'm saying it out loud, it sounds like it would be funny on paper when you're just kind of throwing the kitchen sink in. It's like, whatever, let's just go and run with it. But no, it doesn't have that charm. It doesn't have the charm it should. And I love Michelle Yeoh. She's hot off of, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a movie I highly recommend you go out and see. And here, it just feels like she's injected in the film simply because she's Michelle Yeoh, or I don't know.
Her age in the last couple of years has been working overtime. So
hopefully she got paid them money. Yeah. So she teaches the Minions Kung Fu, which really does nothing. It is a complete waste of time in this. So we get a bunch of sequences of ha-ha funny, but none of the sequences are funny enough when they're doing the Kung Fu. You've seen it 1,000 times. So if you're a little kid and it's the first time you're seeing a training montage like this, then maybe you might like it. But even little kids at this point, Kung Fu Panda, so many other things.
It was a quiet movie theater. There was a couple moments in there where I noticed everyone around was like chuckling a bit. No real big roars of laughter, but this was a very quiet movie theater, and it was tons of kids. So even the kids there are just like, All right.
Yeah.
We've seen this before.
So obviously, we get major. The bulk of the minions get really nothing to do. It's Kevin, Stewart, and Bob again.
Okay.
So Kevin is the tall one, Stewart is the middle, Bob is the smallest, and Bob is my favorite. I like Bob because he's got 2 different colored eyes, and he is the one that makes me giggle and chuckle the most. But they introduce a new. I don't know why. I can't believe these words are even coming out of my mouth. They don't care about the Despicable Me universe, the lore of the universe, because they introduce a new minion here, Otto, which, since this is a prequel, we never see Otto again, I don't think. Maybe we do, and he's just not featured, and he's in the background because they can use one of his designs. But that's the new thing of this film, Otto. And Otto gets that subplot, which basically goes nowhere. Otto's thing is he talks too much, and they tell him to shut up. And that's when I realized, just basically from Otto's talking, that I was like, this is primarily Spanish. I started to think that there would be a scene that they came from Spain or I don't know, South America or something, but no, it's
they constantly say please, 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 please. And it's like, all right, I get it.
So and eventually, Gru wanted to do this alone. He goes to the criminal records where the Vicious Six are at, and that's where he meets the gadget guy that we've seen in Despicable Me. Forget Dr. whoever, something like that, who is the record store owner and kind of the cover for the Vicious Six. And, it could have been funnier, some scenes with the Vicious Six taking, like, mystery men, having, like, all these people show up and be just fucking terrible and then just kick their ass. But you don't really get that. You get one guy, wingman or something like that, and it doesn't really go anywhere.
We've referenced Mystery Men twice today, and
and
we never talk
crazy.
about that fucking movie. Mystery Men was better than this by a lot.
Yeah.
Go watch that instead.
So ultimately, the villains get the Jade Emerald gem back. And what does it do? What is this all-powerful thing supposed to do? It turns them in. So they're actually downtown San Francisco. There's a
Chinese New Year.
New Year going on, and that's where it's really colorful and just the lights and the fireworks and that little dragon that they do, and then one of the minions is riding the dragon. That's cool shit. But then the plot takes back over, and you've got the Vicious Six who managed to get the gem back. So then they're like, the anti-villain league shows up, and they're like, you're under arrest. And she goes, no, we're not. And then they use the gem. And what does the gem do? It turns them into monsters.
Yeah.
Turns the head lady, Bell Bottom, into a flying Chinese dragon. We get a monkey, a roller skate tiger.
It's a zodiac. So you get the tiger and then the ox in there.
And so, again, creative, colorful. I like all that. So then you have a fight sequence. And what did the minions learn from the Kung Fu? Well, their Kung Fu was terrible, and they got their ass kicked, and then that was the end of that. But then in this scene, as, they show up to fight, it's this, what's his name? White Knuckles?
Wild Knuckles.
Wild Knuckles shows up. He takes a turn for babyface instead of heel. And he has kind of a relationship with Gru as his crew. He's not paying his crew. He's kind of a loser now that he got knocked out of the Vicious Six, and they leave him. And so he kind of lets Gru go and kind of takes him under his wing. And this is where there's supposed to be emotion in the film. And that's what I was saying in the spoilers is the moment where the film slows down and you can tell they're trying to get emotion from you was when this old man was like, get out of here, kid. Get out of my sight. And then Gru is all like, and then he leaves the house and he's all sad. But there's zero emotion here. The song kicks in to try to get you. I'm like, I don't care.
Well, 5 seconds later, he ends up in Chinatown. I mean, seriously, it's 5 seconds later. And
then he shows up to help.
Yeah, and then everyone's happy again. It's like, okay, well, we tried to have an emotion, but then when they forgot.
So you got the Vicious Six, the Vicious Five, rather, and now the old man shows up, and the Vicious Six is like, who and what army is going to stop me? Because they capture Gru, and they're, like, literally pulling his body apart on this clock. And he's like, I guess this army, the little minions show up. And previously, she had zapped the minions. She goes, why don't we make this a little more interesting, make it even? So she uses the gem to give them monster powers, too. And it turns the 3 minions we know into a bunny, a goat, and a rooster. And again, they get their ass kicked, but then the culmination of what they learned from Michelle Yeoh was put your battle face on, scream really loud, and they all,
They Hadouken.
Get the fucking bright flaming eyes, and then the anime lines come and they start screaming. That got a reaction from the audience when they were doing that. And so they beat up all the vicious six, and how does it end, Alex?
Gru grabs the necklace. He's freed by Otto. Gru grabs the necklace and then sucks their powers and turns them into the rat. The other Zodiac we hadn't talked about yet. So they're all rats now.
Yeah, which sucks because, when I go to a Chinese restaurant, I'm like, all right, cool, which one am I? Oh, you're the tiger? That's fucking sweet. Oh, you're the ox? What am I? I'm the fucking rat. My sign sucks. All right, but apparently in the culture it's revered and it's a good one. But I don't agree. I wish I was a tiger. Do you know what you are?
I'm the ox.
Ox. See, that's way cooler. Anyway, so then the day is saved, and actually, Wild Knuckles is seemingly killed when she blows fire in his face and he falls down dead. But he's not quite dead. They kind of do a fake out there, take him in hospital, but he's under arrest. Then they do another fake out that he's dead because they go and he's like, I won't be in jail long. And then they're at his funeral. And so it's like, oh, that's what he meant, that he's old and he's just going to die.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess it makes sense because we didn't know about this guy in Despicable Me. But it was a fake. He faked his death, and he's watching his own funeral, and Gru notices him, and he's like, all right, yay, and he's happy to hang out.
Just again, they were thinking about having an emotional moment, and then they interrupted immediately. So in the right in the middle, he's eulogizing this guy, and he doesn't even get through the whole thing because then you see him in the back and he's like, oh, he's alive. It's like, let him get through this whole emotional speech. Stop trying to interrupt all these moments that you're building up because it just didn't fucking work.
Yeah. So, and then basically the film ends. He basically realizes that he needs the minions because they helped him escape from this situation he was in. So
yeah, but he was only in that situation because of the minions.
Exactly. And then you get a mid-credit scene. There's no end-credit scene. We stayed all the way to the end, so don't do what we did. They give you the payoff right away. Gru wants to basically hire Dr. Nefario because he was using his gadget the whole time to essentially steal the gem from the Vicious Six and to do various things. They even go to an evil bank at one point as a heist when they're bonding between, the older dude and him, the Terrible Two. But he basically says no, but then the minions give him the sad eye that is so overdone and overplayed, but give him the sad eye and he feels sad, so then he turns the record store into an airship and they fly off, and that is going to be the one that Gru uses in the future. So I don't know if they're planning. They are not. There's no plans for another Minions film, but there is already development on Despicable Me 4. Mm-hmm. That is releasing July 3rd, 2024. So you will get a 2-year break, Alex, before you have to return to the Minions 4. And I was just thinking the other day, like, why don't they do numbered sequels anymore? And actually, Despicable Me does the numbered sequels, so thank you. It's not something annoying like Despicable Me Requiem. It's Despicable Me 4, like the good old days. Anyways, it's been lowering in quality ever since, so I don't have any hope for Despicable Me 4. Mm-mm. Anyways, that's it. We will have to recount our torture to Joe when he shows back up. Mm-hmm. Thank you, little Joe, for enduring it with us. Oh. That's what he thought of the film, guys. Tell us what you thought of the film in the comments down below, and we will see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye.